Hello everyone, we're on to, is it video 11? I'm trying to get as far on as I can today. It's Sunday today. It's Sunday the 5th of April. And I'd quite like a change and do something else because I have a very short attention span. Anyway, this is the cover I've come up with for this, and I am enjoying doing these, by the way, don't get me wrong. This is the cover I've come up for. If you follow me, you'll know that I've been making a lot of sort of eclectic TN style journals, and I've been using these pages from a cigarette card album, a vintage cigarette card album. I've been cutting them down and using them as front cover motifs. So I did the same with this one, but when I put it on this size journal it looked too long, so I cut the top off this piece here and wanted to layer it up with some fabric. I couldn't find any toning fabric, and then it occurred to me that I could use the back of this one, which obviously is the front cover material. I could use the back. So that's what I did, and a bit of cream. And then I decided I would put one of these at the bottom, and I'd already cut off the description, this description, and then I thought, oh, I'll just put that in there. And I think it came out quite nicely, really. This is the journal that I use the wet glue, and you can see that we've got a nice straight page. If it doesn't go straight, you can just, they're very, what's the word, malleable. You know, you can make it nice just by easing a curve or whatever into the paper. The others, I have to be honest, the others I used double-sided tape to put my bits of cardboard in, and they're fine. So whichever you like to do, it doesn't matter. This is stitched and then glued on with Fabri-Tac, and this is fixed with the brads, as you can see here. And I've got lots of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper sheets which I'll never use, so I'm going to put these on the inside. They look a bit modern maybe to some people's taste, but I like that the colours match, and I think that'll be fine. We'll probably put a pocket here, a lace pocket, or a lace pocket down here or something like that. So those are going to glue into there, and I will show you that. This video might be a bit longer because I want to put this together for this journal, which is the one where I didn't stitch around the edges, and I'm sure you can see that that's absolutely fine. It's just as nice, I think, really. I do like the way the zigzag looks, but this looks fine too. So I thought we'd use a blue one, and I've got Forget Me Not, mostly because I'm going to be covering up the biggest part of the red on this one, and we've got some bits of blue and yellow in here. So again, I'm going to cut this down a little bit, and as well as my big guillotine, I've got this smaller tonic one which I enjoy using. Take a bit off the top as well, and I'm just doing this by eye really. I haven't measured or anything like that. I just have a look at it on there till it looks about right, which it does, I think, there. And I'm using a little bit of black soot distress ink just around the edges. I very seldom leave a white edge. I either use brown distress or sometimes this black one. I'm using black because it's got this printed. Right. Okay. So to do the fabric, I just need to cut a bit. I want to cut it as straight as I can, so I do this by eye, nothing fancy. So we'll just cut this approximately 1/4 inch bigger, maybe. Go on there, and then I want to fray this one. One edge frays, or opposite edges fray easily, and then the other edge doesn't. I think that's to do with the way the weave goes. It's called the warp and the weft. I can't remember which is which. And in my experience, however square you think you're cutting this, you're not. It's always a bit skewed, but I don't worry about that. Okay, these bits. So that's going to be our first layer, and I'm just going to sorry, when I've cut this, we've got one on the back, so I'm going to peel that off. I can use that for something else. Just going to use a bit of glue stick to tack this down, because we are going to stitch. So that's our first layer, and that to me isn't enough contrast, and we've got this sort of off-white area here, so I've chosen another fabric, which is this, what is this, a sort of canvasy fabric, and I'm going to cut this just a little bit bigger, than the edge of the first one. And I'm going to fray this as well. This one will be even more wonky. I just know from experience. If I was Gail now, I'd be chatting away to you. Gail Agostinelli. I'm not a good chatter, really. Plus, as soon as I feel as if I'm concentrating, I go quiet. Anyway, that's probably... It doesn't have to be perfect or exact. The whole thing is fairly square. Take another one off there. So that can go on there. And I think that looks absolutely fine. So I'm going to tack that down as well. It's just so that when I stitch it, it doesn't move too much. And I'm just going to see what I think. And I think that's going to be okay. And I probably will do the same and put that underneath. So I'm going to zigzag round the edge of this, and I'm going to do a straight stitch round the white. the zigzag done. The main bit of our stitching, so that's going to go on like so. Yep, I think that's okay. So fabric tack for this. And I'm being quite generous with the amount of glue. I don't want this coming off. And I'm gluing sort of inside my zigzag bit. So I don't want it showing through to the front. So that's going on there. Before I stick it completely down, I just make sure it's level. So it's 1 3/8. 3/8. Let me check again. You can do the top as well if you like to. And I'm just going to turn it over. Okay, and then we need to pop this underneath. So what have I done with the bit I cut off? That's typical. Forget me not. Okay. Oh, well, I'll have to find that. What have I done with it? Do you all know where that bit is? Is it back in here? Nope. Okay, so I'll show you on here. The way I did this, I've cut a piece of card that will fit in here, and then I stuck this card on the back of my definition, if you like, and then popped it in. So I'm really sorry, I don't know what I've done with that. So this goes in the middle here. And I'm just going to make a couple of holes for that to line up. There. I've got these little brads. I used to do scrapbooking and card making, and I've got hundreds of these tiny brads, which are a bit fiddly. That one. No, I've done it upside down. Jackie. I'm flustered because I thought I had everything ready. I think that will go in this time. Maybe not. I would do this so easily if I wasn't on camera. Get brads with longer legs, this would be so much easier. Sorry, you've got my head there. Okay, get there in the end. So I straighten that up. And then I use my steel rule to flatten these down as much as I can. That took forever, didn't it? Honestly. And then when I've put my definition on there, I can slot it in to the front. And then to glue, I should choose some end papers for this book as well. I'm not quite sure which ones I'm going to do. I think probably this, because it picks up this peachy colour. Black's fine. Oh, I've also got this blue. It's that one, possibly that one. So I should choose one of those to put in there. And the way I glue these in is I definitely use double-sided tape this time on all of this. So I should put double-sided tape over this area, and then I'll put Fabri-Tac round the, not on there, I should put Fabri-Tac around the edge of this paper, just on the edge, and I will go from the front here, line it up, and that will finish that front off and cover all that mess up. So sorry, that was a dreadful, the end of the video. I'm going to try and find my bit of paper now, and I'll come back at some point and we'll start doing a little bit more decoration in this journal, and I'll show you how I got on with the others. Thank you.